All right, the Bucks. It is Talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane. And listen to me. Sometimes when there's nothing there for you to care about, you have to make for yourself a reason for things to matter. You have to make for yourself a reason for something to care about. And when you found that thing, then you can at least enjoy the ride of your life or whatever that it is. And I think for us as Orlando Pirates fans, obviously the thing that mattered most for us this season was that we would finish first in the league. But very soon we found out that we still weren't good enough. And so we have sort of reshaped and we have recalibrated. I don't know what the word is, but we've sort of, adjusted ourselves to creating a second narrative that will matter to us. And the narrative for us was that at least let's go to Africa, at least let's win the MTN 8, at least let's win the Nedbank Cup. And, two of those have been accomplished so far. We have won the MTN 8. We have qualified for Africa. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything. You don't have nothing to do with, why you are happy. In this case, we failed to do our job. We're supposed to go into this game and win it, but Richards Bay did the job for us. And so up the mighty Richards Bay. They've, done the job for us and have kept us caring about the thing that matters for us the most. And so we are jubilant. I don't care, Mamelodi Sundowns fans, Kaizer Chiefs fans are going to say, why are you guys happy? You guys should have been first. You guys should have been competing to win this league. But football is not going to be enjoyable if you're not going to enjoy the ride of it. And so along the way, when you realize that your team is not good enough, perhaps this season, to compete for number one, and so you've got to alter, you've got to adjust your expectations. And so we did earlier on in the season. We adjusted our expectations and we knew that at least, at the very least, let's get second. And we have, thanks to Richards Bay for that. Festival atmosphere again at the stadium. Wonderful outing for me at Scotinis Kamaminzela. Great fans, great crowd. Early on in the game, you already hear some murmurs from the fans talking about, Richards Bay is 2-0 up. And there's a sense in which it's an injection of nerves because you're thinking if we go on to lose it from this point, I don't know if I'm going to live. I don't know if my heart can take that. But the boys did the business. They got the ball in the back of the net. Shout out, Tito. Shout out Munapule Saleng. Shout out Fazo Mawasa. What a season you guys have had. Not so much Munapule Saleng. However, I think every time that he's had an opportunity to sort of stake a claim for why, he's one of the best players at this club. And, I really don't care for any critics of that statement that I just made. Munapule Saleng is by far one of the best players in this club. Every time that it matters, he has produced. And yet again today, when it matters most, after such a long time not playing, he has come in and he has provided the assist that has gotten us to be able to score. Shout out to Fazo Mawasa. You have gone away on loan to everywhere that you have gone to. And you have come back now when it has mattered the most. You have produced. You have won yourself, the golden boot. So happy for you. You deserve it. You are by far, I don't care what Hugo Bruce might say about the statement. You are by far the most deserving striker to wear that South African shirt. I think you are the best in the country at the moment. And whoever might say whatever they might want to say, SCREW them. Well done to you. In a very short span, you have proven to us, Orlando Pirates fans and the rest of the nation, that you are very talented and you are very good at what you do. You put the ball at the back of the net, and that's what you have done even today to get us to Africa. And so, we are happy. We're jubilant. This is going to be such a terrible review because my mood, my mind is all over the place. My heart is all over the place. I'm just a fan today. I'm just celebrating, a win. And as a fan, I stayed behind for the celebrations with the fans. For that reason, you might get this review a bit later. Hopefully, I can get it to you the same day that the match is played. But yeah, I'm just in that mood where I don't have so much to say except that up the mighty Bucks, up the mighty black men, up the mighty Juju Nation. You guys have, yes, it's not the most ideal situation that we're in, but it's worth celebrating. Listen, it is worth celebrating. As fans, we know that it's worth celebrating. We obviously have some things that we'd like to talk about, but maybe we'll talk about it in the back room when it's just us as fans, as the club. There's a lot to talk about, especially what you guys promised us after that preseason in Spain, what you promised us after a few games in the league this year. It did go south, and there's a conversation to be had around that going into next season. However, in the eyes of everyone, because I know there are some Mamelodi Sundowns fans who are going to watch these things that I sit on the table and record. And so, listen, you Mamelodi Sundowns fans, you Kaizer Chiefs fans, and the rest of the league, we are proud of our boys. They've done the business. We are in Africa. Stellenbosch, you guys thought you were going to be in our way, but you are not. You know what? I want to congratulate Stellenbosch. You guys have given a good fight. You've given us a fight, something that Supersport United have failed to do, even last season, this season, even today. However, you guys, you've had a fight. You've had a good fight. But listen, we are Orlando Pirates. We are the Juju Nation. We are the mighty men in black. And so we've had the last laugh. We are in Africa. You guys are in Africa, in the lesser Africa, if I might say. But yeah, just maybe to say something on the game. It was, the game started off really well. Something I was really surprised about, especially in the second half when I saw Bradley Grobler come on, is that why didn't he start? I thought he was the only way Supersport United would have an outlet in the way that they set up, in the way that they play their football. Chandra Campbell, what a player. Very talented young player, good left foot, sweet left foot, good deliveries into the box. But no one there to put the ball in the back of the net, to meet it in the back of the net. And so Supersport United had, these moments where they'd go wide, but really no end product to it because, Terence Jugamanja was not going to get at the end of them. He likes to drift around. We know him very well. As much as he can put the ball in the back of the net, however, when you need him sometimes to be there, he's not there. And so he needs someone to be there alongside him. And I thought they'd play, Bradley Grobler alongside him to give us problems in this game. However, we didn't have a lot of problems in the first half. I thought the reason that we didn't score was mostly because of us. Now, I do want to say that, there's a sense in which injuries affect sometimes the way that we go out and perform and that sort of thing. So by missing a few players at times, it does disrupt the plan. It does, affect the way that you play. Now, Jose Rivero earns a lot of money, obviously, to be able to deal with those sort of things. But I do think that in the way that we set up, and maybe this conversation is a bit premature for me because I've looked at and watched what our approach is, and I've got a bit of suggestions for the kind of player that we need to go for next season to optimize the way that we want to play and get the best results out of the way that we want to play. Okay, so the way that we set up, obviously, in this game is we've got Monyani. On paper, we've got Monyani as the right back, Dion Hoto as the left back, two centre-back pairing of Thabiso Sesani alongside Olisanda, two pivots in Makehleni Makaula and Talent Mbata, and number 10 in Patrick Maswanganyi, and then Munapule Saleng as the right forward, Lephile Mfukeng as the left forward, and Sokfatso Mabasa as the striker. Though I do want to say that that formation is mostly a defensive formation. It's what we look like when we are trying to stop Supersport United and any other team in the league from scoring. We play the 4-2-3-1, maybe even the 4-4-1-1, you might argue. However, when we've got the ball, when we are trying to impose our plan, when we are trying to create our own chances, it does change. into sometimes a 3-2-2-3 or a 2-3-2-3, where you've got obviously the two centre backs. Today the case was you had the two centre backs helping us with the build up, trying to progress the ball from the back alongside the goalkeeper. You had the two double pivots with Munyani alongside them, forming a 3 next to the double pivot. So Munyani today actually didn't play high up, and that's because Saleng is playing, obviously, who's giving us the width on the right. So you had Munyani, who's the one who's sort of joining the two double pivots and creating a 2-3, at times forming a 3-2, where Munyani is part of the 3 alongside the centre backs, and then the double pivots. And then you had the two number 10s and Mfukeng as the left attacking midfielder, left central attacking midfielder, and Maswanganyi as the right central attacking midfielder. Munapule Saleng is giving us the width on the right. Dion Hotto is giving us the width on the left. And you've got, Tshogfatso Mabasa as the striker. Now, I think the reason we don't create a lot of chances in the first half, though we do create a few moments here and there, but we don't create, sort of that fluid Pirates best, is because what we are as Orlando Pirates is we depend on our triangles. What do I mean by the triangle? So you've got the triangle on the right, which is today the triangle is... Thabiso Munyani, Munapule Saleng, and Patrick Maswanganyi. On the left, the triangle is Dion Hotto, Relebogile Mofokeng, and someone who's meant to join that triangle is Talent Mbat. However, very rigid on the left. We don't create a lot, relying a lot on the magic of Relebogile Mofokeng to create some stuff for us in taking on players. And I don't want to discredit that, because that's a strategy in football. That's the reason you go and get these very good superior players, is that you don't always have to rely on the system to be able to dismantle the opposition and their shape. Sometimes you just rely on the superior quality that you have to create a bit of magic and upset the organization of the opposition in that way. And that was the case on the left today. On the right, however, I think very good movement, something that I think goes a bit under the radar with Patrick Maswanganyi. And I mean, there's a lot to say about him. He's very good on the ball. He's a workaholic. However, I think his movement is, well, you guys know about his movement, especially between the lines. But I also think, the amount of selfless runs that he makes, sort of going beyond the right winger, or when he's playing on the left, he'll make the runs going beyond the left winger so that Mofokeng can cut inside and create that chaos where no one knows who to stick with Maswanganyi and who to stick with Mofokeng as he cuts inside. And maybe even the left back will, overlap, creating that triangle of movement that confuses the organization of the opposition. And I thought today on the left, not so much, because when Dion Hotto is playing over there, he's very rigid. He doesn't come inside. He's mainly sticking out wide. However, on the right today, you've got, Maswanganyi, who can sort of go out so that Saleng can come in, and it causes that bit of confusion on the right. And I think that's why we create the chance on our right wing today. I think when you've got Mofokeng as the wide player and you've got Mayela will sometimes tuck infield, and so Mofokeng will go out wide, and then when Maswanganyi makes that run, Mofokeng will come in field. It causes that confusion. But today on the left, very rigid, Hotto sticking wide, and so very minimal in the sense of switching of positions, which is something that in these triangles, these triangles of the 3 players on the left and 3 players on the right, that's what we rely on to create that movement, bit of confusion, to create the chances. And I think this team is set up so that, Mabasa can tap in, but it heavily relies on the movement of these 3 players who are on the right and on the left, creating those triangles for us. And so I think we don't create a lot, but the chance that we do create comes from the right because of the bamboozling of that movement, not so much on the left. But we obviously go ahead in the first half, and again, murmurs of, Richards Bay having gone up front in their game, 2 goals up front, and so you can sense the atmosphere. All you can hear is people whispering, Richards Bay, ya leader. And you're just thinking, hey guys, let's go and get the job done. We obviously score the first goal, and the stadium erupts. It's a good atmosphere. People are having their pint, sort of enjoying with each other. Kaizer Chiefs fans at the stadium looking very dejected, knowing the scoreline on their side. Mamelodi Sundowns fans looking very dejected, knowing that no invincible season for them. And, wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. We obviously go on in the second half to go and concede because Grant Marchaman, what a player. I don't care. There's a lot of Orlando Pirates fans I've seen because the stuff that goes out sometimes about Pirates is interested in this player. We're always linked with these players that perform. And if you're Orlando Pirates, you're always going to be linked with these players. And, Grant Marchaman is another one that, certain pockets of Orlando Pirates fans have said, hey, let's go and get that player. But there's pockets that say, he's terrible, whatever. But today, he did a shift on the right wing in the second half. In the first half, he was doing a lot of a shift sort of at, right back, kind of, sort of drifting into that area as, Lungu is playing right back and he moves, he goes, forward, comes back, that kind of thing. And Marchaman was doing sort of a shift, moving from right central midfielder, going into right back. Him and Spesisenjov, I've got to, give them a lot of credit. They do what they do for Supersport United, and they do it very well. And they deserve the credit. And, they get a goal in the second half. Bit of twitchy asses in the stadium, bit of nerves injected into us, thinking that, hey, Stellenbosch have now gotten a goal. It's 2-1 at Richards Bay. If they go and get a second and we then concede a second goal and the score goes to 2-1, it means that, all this excitement for nothing because we'll then finish third. However, job done by Richards Bay first and foremost, but also job done by the mighty men in black. And so we are in Africa. And I'm excited and you are excited as well, except if you support a team that wears yellow and you're watching this, this channel. I don't know why, but thank you anyway. But I don't want to sit here for too long. We've got a final upcoming. It's been a long season. I'm going to be doing a lot of season wrap-up stuff, and so I'm not going to fit everything into this episode. However, I do want to say, you mighty man, you great black man, well done. We're so proud of you. Let's now go on to the Nedbank Cup final. And just last thought, something I want to say is that there's a sense in which you want to go into the final with a win from your last game, just for momentum's sake. But however, sometimes I think, maybe it's good that we go with that extra bit of motivation, knowing that we've got to raise the performance. Something I'm a little bit nervous about is that, Sundowns have been upset. They don't have the fairy tale ending that they thought that they would have, having not gone invincible for the first time in this league. And so, sometimes you don't want to awaken that giant by these kind of things. So they might come with an extra bit of motivation, but I'm not scared. I am nervous, but not scared. I trust Tito. I trust Mufukeng. I think we've got a lot to offer to them. And so over to you, Jose Rivero. You've got 7 days to go and prepare these boys. I trust in you. And until then, up the mighty Bucks. Cheers. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video from Talking Buccaneers. If you did, please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all our future content.